What's up guys, it's Chris here. So I just sat through the entire Veve AMA that they have bi-weekly, and this basically goes over a lot of the questions and concerns that the community has. This goes over new updates and overall the future of Veve and where they're at currently. I feel like a quick summary like this will be beneficial to a lot of people, so if it does benefit you and you do like the short and concise summary instead of sitting through it or anything like that, let me know down below in the comments or like the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel just to further support so I can continue to get information out like this. If you would like to watch the entire AMA, I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure Cvers probably recorded the entire thing. He's usually really good about that, so you can go to Cvers Anderson's page and watch the entire AMA. But again, I'm going to try to break it down real quick for you, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So a large portion of this AMA is something that I just did a video on, and that was dedicated to the bots in Veve. Basically, they released a Medium article that I'll leave down below in the description that you can go read, and it goes over this in detail. If I were to go over the entire article right now, it would take up half the video, and I'm trying to keep this short. Just to highlight some things that stood out to me though, it did bring some things to my attention. It went over the dirty gems misconception, which is basically where people believe if they bought gems off app and those gems were used by a spammer or botter account, then their accounts can also be disabled. They went ahead and publicly said in the article that that's not the case. If you buy gems off the app, although they discourage it, that will not warrant a ban. They also squashed a lot of other things, just kind of giving us a peace of mind of what they're doing about bots. First and foremost, they've banned 300,000 bots, which is a lot of bots. They also were talking about, everybody's wondering, it could be me next. I could wake up to my account being banned. And while that is still a possibility, a lot of the things that are happening right now might be some sort of suspicious activity. And if at the end of the day that user was innocent, then they will not be banned anymore. Of course, right now, the main struggle is trying to get to them in a timely manner. But for instance, they did bring some things up to my attention that I thought was interesting. So if people are using like a massage gun, which I saw that going through like TikTok and a couple of other videos a couple months ago, that could warrant the activity that could lead you to having your account disabled. There's also some features on iOS and I believe Android that was kind of like an auto clicker but not quite a bot. That's also suspicious activity. Basically anything that you could have done to have some sort of advantage by using third-party extensions could have warranted some sort of suspicious activity. Now, a lot of things again like dirty gems, and also they even squashed the entire multiple accounts. Dan, while discouraging you to have multiple accounts because that could be an issue in KYC later, which we've already seen, basically said that it doesn't warrant you to be banned or disabled from Veve. So the whole, well, I logged into this phone, but I got a new phone and I was logged into both at the same time, that probably didn't warrant you a ban. The claim in the AMA is basically if you had your account disabled, then knowingly or not knowingly, you might have been having some suspicious activity on your phone. There is a very small amount, I believe they used 1%, on the app that had their accounts falsely disabled or falsely accused. And for me making this video, even though I'm just doing coverage, I'm not really giving my opinion on it, my heart does go out to you if you had your account falsely banned for no reason. But overall, they were stating that the amount of claims opposed to that amount of people who actually did not use any type of script, bot, massage gun, whatever it is kind of outweighing. Their voice is a little bit louder than actually the percentage of them that exists. Ultimately, I do hope if you're watching this video and you or one of your close friends is falsely banned, that you can get in touch with Veve and that they correct the mistake as soon as possible. And again, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Another thing I want to point out before moving on to the next section is that they did recommend on a lot of our dates of birth, it's off by 1 day, and that could be just based on the time zone difference. Go ahead and submit a ticket to Veve letting them know that your birthday is off by a day. That way, when the time comes and you need KYC to either prove that you're innocent or to cash out or whatever you need it for, your date on your license or passport or whatever you have will match the date on the Veve app. That way, there won't be any further issues trying to verify you. You have to think about it from a logical standpoint. There could be people trying to impersonate other people, so they just want to make sure that the credentials match up. So if you're watching this video, please make sure that your date on the Veve app, go to your profile, I think it's settings, personal details, and make sure that is your birthday, and if it's off, then submit a ticket to Veve. Moving on to the slightly more exciting topics, they did talk about MTL a little bit. Basically what they said is that as soon as next week, MTL will be rolling out to a wider user base. So what this reminds me of is back in February and March of last year, they had the secondary market closed to most users. They opened it to just a slight amount of users the first time just to make sure everything worked properly. And after that, they definitely widened the space and introduced a lot more users in the first time. And then lastly, on the third time, they released a whole lot more users until finally everybody had the secondary marketplace. I'm seeing MTL be the exact same way. I'm hoping that as soon as next week, we'll actually have a few people that we know through Twitter or Discord or Telegram program or whatever that we've built a relationship with that are maybe getting beta testing in MTL. That way it feels one step closer to becoming a thing. If this is your first time hearing about MTL, all that is the money transmitter license to convert your gems to whatever your local currency is, 1-to-1, instead of having to trade off app right now to be able to cash out. So this is the cash out feature coming to Veve, finally unraveling and coming alive. My prediction is, if it's true and we do get more users next week, I definitely think throughout the following weeks we'll see more and more users be able to get the feature. I can't give an exact date as I'm not part of the team, and who knows. My third thing that I'd like to talk about is just general Veve updates that are coming soon. These updates are pretty exciting for the community and the expansion of the project. So one of the things that David Yu mentioned himself is that they are actually trying to appeal to the Asian market. This will open up a much wider audience and much more money coming into the app if we can get the Asian market involved. So they did actively say that they're trying to implement that. They also talked about how comic and showrooms is really close. What they said was they're basically working, I guess, on the aesthetics. They didn't use that word, but they're working on the way that it would look in the showrooms, and that's really the last thing that they have to do. So after they figure that out, then we'll actually be able to have comics in our showrooms. Who knows how soon that could be, but there's only one thing left. Hopefully it won't be too far from now. They talked about the drop lottery system a little bit more, although they didn't release a hard date. I'm pretty sure I heard him say Q2, which would be put us around, again, April, somewhere like that. This drop lottery system will basically allow everyone to enter a queue and have an equal chance to get a drop. Speaking of which, I've made other videos this in the past. I'll go ahead and link one right above me, but this will increase our Master Collector program incentives, because basically they keep on saying that they want to reward collectors and holders. These points accumulate, and there's a ton of other ways to accumulate them that I've made that other video on, but basically you'll be able to buy more drop lottery tickets to be able to increase your odds at getting drops in the future. So every time the team goes onto an AMA, they always mention the Master Collector program. I don't think that's by accident. I think that they're wanting to get us excited about the Master Collector program and let us know in a nonchalant way that it's going to be probably a bigger deal than we expect it to be. As an example, I actually tweeted about it right after the AMA, and Ecomi tweeted back at me just like the little eyes, basically hinting at, okay, maybe there is something to this Master Collector program. Those are really the three main things that I do want to cover in this video. There's a couple of extra things that I'd like to just kind of make note of. One of them was somebody asked if the supply on collectibles will go up with the user base increasing, because as they announced in the AMA that we now have 1.9 million active users. Around 100 to 300,000 users just downloaded the app last week, which is absolutely insane. Basically, their response to this is something that I highly agree with, and that's they want to make this a collecting app that is highly desirable. So they're not going to keep on increasing the quantity of these drops just to meet the needs of everyone, because they want these collectibles to be worth money. If you're familiar with NBA Top Shots, they diluted the market by doing these huge drops, and at the end of the day, sure, you can get a drop, but your drop wasn't worth any money. Veve doesn't want to be the same way, and I do believe that they want our collectibles to continue to go up in value. Lastly, Reese kind of made a facetious question. He said, will we have a drop collectible every single day, to Dan, probably knowing the answer, and Dan's answer was probably not every day. So although we're probably going to have a significant amount of drops in the future, it might not be every day. It might give us more time to rest or not cause as much of a gem squeeze or affect the market. So I'm hoping around the way the market looked this week with all the drops of comics and collectibles, we'll kind of see in the future with, of course, more grails incorporated. All right, guys, those are probably my favorite things that the AMA talked about. Please let me know if this helped you at all to where you didn't have to go and watch the hour AMA in the future. I just like to be able to talk about things that I think stood out and kind of give my perspective on them. As somebody who's been here since March, which isn't that long, but I've kind of been able to experience all of the build up to these things like MTL, like Master Collector. Like, I've been waiting almost a year now for some of this stuff. So these AMAs are really important to me. I try to make sure to attend every time. I recommend next time, if you're able to join, then you can. And if not, maybe you can watch my next recap video if you enjoyed this one. All right, guys, until next time, peace out.